The 4 rows of Keimer, there's a lot better plant establishment than there is on the 1915. The countdown to harvest is just starting. So if you look down here now, really green. It's Monday morning, just in one of the fields of sugar beet on our difficult clay soils, and I can't believe from hoeing it last Friday how much difference it's made. Okay, these are the headlands, the outsides that always are not quite so good, but in the field it really has grown. But I've got Angus here from KWS. I've known Angus years. We're growing a variety as well called Keimer. Angus always get 2 units of a new variety. Put them in the end 2 rows of the sugar beet drill, and then as you drive down the field with the drill, obviously you've got 2 rows of a different variety. Turn around at the other end, that means you've got 2 more. So we've got 4 rows together of this other variety. And the normal variety we've got in this field, the rest of the field is BTS 1915, and those sugar beet growers who watch this will know that there is a germination issue with that. So this is why we've got a few gaps, and it's really noticeable. Actually, you can see this Keimer, the 4 rows of Keimer, there's a lot better plant establishment than there is on the 1915, and we'll just have a look. So Angus is doing plant count, so I won't put him off, but there's the 4 rows where the orange pegs are. That's the Keimer, the other variety. So you see an orange peg just there, and there's an orange peg just in front of Nala. And it is really noticeable when you look where Nala is now. So you've got that row is Keimer, then all up there is 1915. So you've got 4 rows of Keimer. You can just see how much better the establishment is compared to where Angus is walking on the left. And all that is a variety, and it's like it naturally. Not quite sure what the problem is, but there is gapping, as you can see, all the way along, all the way around. Compared to these 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Angus has just done a plant count here, and you've just measured how much, Angus? 20?
20 metres.
Right, and what have you found?
I found 91 plants with the Keimer.
Yep.
And 75 with
1915, the variety.
1915.
Yeah, that's staggering because all of it was planted at the same time.
Yeah.
Same seed, or obviously 4 different varieties in the 2 end ones, but the rest of it's the same, all done on the same day. And we've got 95 against 71. 75, and that's in a 20-metre run. So yeah, when you look at that over the field, that's quite a percent establishment difference. So what's the benefit of Keimer, this other variety? What's its standout?
It will be very clean in terms of fungal disease and that sort of thing in the leaf.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get away with less applications, one less application of fungal spray, and also it's a good yielder as well.
Right, well that's interesting. We'll see what it's like. But I must admit, when you look down the road, definitely a difference, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Thank you, Angus. So just heading now across to one of our contract farms, and Carol's got a drainage machine in. We've had obviously wet spots dotted around, and they're in the area. So the drainage machine is just going to come and put a drain down a hedge side. So hopefully we'll get some good footage of that. But it'll be well worth doing because it's been one of the wet spots all winter. We've got DMJ drainage here. You've seen them on my videos at the show. We're just going to put a short drain in across here. There's the machine, but we've got the river branch just on the right in front of us, but it's been wet down that hedge all the way to that first tree, and then just past those vans down that hedge side. So they're in the area, so they're going to put one in. Just unloading on the road, which isn't ideal, but it's only a very, very minor road. Just got one van there waiting to come. This is the machine that lays the stone in the trench after the drainage machine's gone through it. So you can see the big chain, it cuts the soil. It's like a giant chainsaw. That's putting the gravel in. See the pipe there? Going all into the ground. The pipe's perforated, it's got small holes in it. So it's a mixture of crushed brick and various other stone. If you watch my video from the seals event, you saw it in a bucket. You can see here why you need to go fairly high up. That's about 300mm from the surface, because then when you mole it and go through the drains at an angle, it'll help with the field drainage of this for years to come. You through by the soil type here, when you look at this, it's completely different clay to what it is at the other end. On the drainage machine, just showing you the, right, just explaining again if you can, what
the red line is what I've surveyed at.
You can see the reflection, yep.
The blue the sky,
yeah.
The green line is what I've put in, what your drain's at.
So obviously that far end where we were up there, because the ground rises a lot, you had to go in, what we say, 1.8?
My highest bit was 1.78.
1.78 there?
Yeah, well 1.8. But where I've set in,
so that's the drain. So that's the fall you can see, because you need a fall on the drain, and then down here is the riverbank.
Yeah.
So that's why I've got to get a fall on it like that, so the water runs down. And what depth are you here?
900.
900, yeah. Brilliant. So this is it close up. They've just stopped at the minute, just waiting for some more stone to come. Just looking at here, you can see it's like a giant chainsaw. And this is what cuts in relation to my hand, that's the size of them. That's what cuts the ground. You can't see down there, but the pipe is down through here, drops in. There's the pipe, in there. And that's it. And this is the hopper, and it drops the stone. You can see there. The pipe is about 900mm down there, so just under 3 feet deep the pipe is. Nala, come on. We're going through the standing crop, you'll see there, and they're only going to go up to this tree. But you can see here there's no crop here, and there has to be a time when you do it for convenience. And the drainage machine was in the area and passing, so the amount of crop we're going to lose here is minimal for the amount of good it's doing. You can see there. So we're only going to go up to where that tree is up there, somewhere here. After the visit from Angus yesterday that you saw a few minutes ago in this clip, and I'm just wanted to have a look at some other beet fields on the heavy land, just do some plant counts because of this issue with the variety 1915. And you can see actually where I'm stood here, this is gappy as well, and we have actually got in this field 4 rows of Keimer, that other variety that we were talking about a minute or two ago. So I'm just going to have a look and see if I can find those. We didn't peg them out in this field, but with the light coloured tops, they're a bit different colour. We should easily be able to see them in this sunlight, because of course when you look here today, it's Tuesday morning, really warm at the minute, and sunny, so we should be able to find them quite easily. Skylark singing above, somewhere up there. So just looking here, I can actually now just start to see a bit of a lighter tinge. Can you just see those rows just through there? Just see it a bit lighter. So you can see it's a bit gappy here. So the first of those light rows is that one there. I know there is a bit of a, I won't say investigation, but there's something going on at the minute with British Sugar or NFU Sugar, looking at this and seeing what the problem is, because the seed, we order it through British Sugar, or we have been doing. It's now just changing that we can actually order it from the seed company themselves, but it's not like normal cereal seed or any other crop we grow, where we get the variety from merchants or the seed, the plant breeders or the company involved in that, we actually have to get it from British Sugar, but that is just now changing. But we'll need to get to the bottom of this, why this variety is so poor and why it's a big reduction in germination. But we've chosen this variety because it is a very good yielding variety, and it's not too bad for sugar content. But I think over the last few years, sugar content has been dropping a little bit compared to the varieties we used to grow, say 10 years ago. We'd get probably sometimes then on early lifting 18%, 18.5% sugar, and if we get 17 or 17.5 now, that's about it. So I think it has been at the expense of sugar. The yield has been climbing on these varieties, but it's at the expense of sugar content, which of course we get paid on 16% sugar, so anything over 16% is like free sugar to us, and that's what we get paid on. But a bit of a concern when you see the gappiness in this crop. So I'll keep you up to date on that and what the findings are when NFU Sugar and the various seed companies have got sorted with this, and to see what if they know what the problem is. The countdown to harvest is just starting because of oilseed rape storage that we do for ADM, the merchant. I know there's some farmers have already sprayed off the oilseed rape or thinking about spraying it off any day. So that means actually applying Roundup to the crop to evenly ripen it. And normally when you put that on, you're sort of 2 weeks minimum, maybe 3 weeks from harvest. You can nearly set the clock by it. So we need to make sure that the stores are ready, which Ruben and Tom are going to be doing over the next few days, and getting everything ready for accepting the oilseed rape. Also, one other job we've got to do is the land that we haven't got any crops on, such as this field, is make sure we get them mould. So make sure we do the drainage issues underneath with the mould plough, as it's called. And also we need to solo them as well before harvest, so cultivate them properly after that to let so the ground's got time to weather before we plant it with wheat, which we're going to do in the middle of September on all this block of land that we haven't got any crop growing. But I'll just show you here, because this cover crop is really starting to grow now, and it's just down to this lovely warm weather that we've been having, because it's been still for probably about 2 weeks without really moving. So if you look down here now, really green. A lot of it here is Phacelia. When you look at these leaves there, so they're really starting to grow now. If I can just pull one of those up without snapping it, look at the roots there going in. So all those are going into the soil, putting goodness in and also taking moisture out, because that's what we need. And then the other crop we've got here, these tall leafy ones, are buckwheat. So we've got that, and then there is also linseed in here, which is there. Forget it focus, that's a linseed plant there. So we've got 3 species in here, but it's really starting to grow now, and just what we want it to do. So we'll mould through this to create the drainage channels underneath. It won't damage this too much, because it only puts a very sort of narrow slot in the ground, and I'll show you that in another week's time when we get doing it. And but generally, when you look at this now, it's all starting to get good coverage, which is helping to dry the soil out, which is what we need for when we solo it and work it for wheat. And but it's also putting goodness back into the soil. When you look at these plants now, really starting to move, which is great. You can just see on the side of this crop as well, some of this wheat going yellow. That's because this is where one of the areas that Ruben sprayed off with glyphosate with Roundup last week, because it's had no inputs on it, because the water's been stood on it. Here's all the weeds growing, but it's always the cereals that first start to show the effect of glyphosate. It was only sprayed just over about a week ago, and when you look at it, it's just starting to go off. In another week, by Sunday's update, these will be going brown as well, and it's amazing how much the weather really makes a difference into the performance of some of these products. But this has all had water stood on it all over winter, so because we're not going to get a crop off it, if you remember, we mapped them and we haven't been applying any products at all, fertiliser or fungicides or anything to these areas. And then you can see here it goes from yellow to green. That's because we've got a crop here, so all of a sudden the sprayer has been applying it here, so it stopped the Roundup there but applied it there, and that's all done through GPS and us mapping all these fields a few months ago. There's the drainage machine going back on the low loader back up towards Boston or its next job. You can just see it in front of that lorry. Maybe you can't through the trees. There we go. Ruben's applying the fungicide to this barley. This is the last one for the season. This crop was planted about middle of April. It was the last ones we did. He's done the outside breed, so that's what he does going up there. And now he's just backing up. That's the headlands done. The outsides. Just backing up now to do the first tram line up and down the field. You can see, looking at the awns here, this is what we're protecting. So with barley, it's those awns there. Let me just get it focused. It's these awns here that we need protecting. They're the ones that gives the yield in barley, and that's where the disease comes in. Leaves earlier in the season, but it's the awns later in the season. That's lovely and green right down to the floor. Also, I've just spotted in here are the broadleaf weeds that's dying, and again it just shows how good the chemistry is. Look at that, all these weeds there starting to grow amongst the crop in here. In the base, that's all dying now, and the barley will just grow and smother it out, and it'll carry on dying. All those weeds will. So we only planted 2 fields of barley late, sort of middle of April time. This little one here where we were growing the capulet beans last year, and also another hectare field that we had sugar beet on a year ago, and they're the only ones. And I'm glad we didn't do any more because they're not looking brilliant. They're very unlevel, very uneven, as you saw last week in one of those clips where I showed the field of barley with the drains running through it. So I'm glad we only did these 2 fields, and this is why we need to really get the rest of the land. There's a third of the farm with no crops growing on it, and this is why we need to get them all worked and ready and get it planted with wheat in the middle of September, so maximise next year and help recover some of the losses from this year.